Okay, this is to talk about how to remove the evap canister on a 1260 Multistrada Enduro. I'm specifically doing this because I'm having issues where if I grab the clutch at like a deceleration, I'd say about 50% of the time, bike just stalls out. And there are kits that you can buy. I'll try and put the link in the description specifically that helps you remove this, but I'm not sure you really need to do that. So basically, if the canister were still there, and it's not, so right side of the bike is off, gas tank is off. To help you kind of visualize where this all is, this is the fuel return line to the tank on the driver's side. Front wheel's over here, so we're on the driver's side of the bike. And so basically, normally there would be a bracket right here sticking off of the support for the skid plate, and the evap can sits in the bracket like this. And so you can see it hanging off the bike without probably having to remove very much. I think I'm doing a lot of other work to my bike, but I don't think you have to remove very much to get to it. I just clipped the two hoses off the top there. The one on the round thing here, this one is coming from the right side tank vent tube, and this one is going to the evap system line. I'll show you that in a second. And then the bottom of it is basically a drain hole, and that's not connected to anything. And so pretty much there is this bracket sitting there. It has two bolts that go on from the inside of this kind of magnesium looking bracket. They're a pain in the ass. They're a 5mm Allen. And then there is an outside bracket that goes on top of that. I think it looks kind of like this. That is a hex. There's a hole right here, and that's what holds the canister into that bracket assembly there. So all you have to do is clip both these lines and pull the whole thing out, toss it in the trash if you want, and then there will be the vent line. This line will be just kind of sticking out of the bike. What I did is I went up to the top side and just grabbed it from there and pulled it through. And I'm just replacing that with an actual vent to the bottom of the bike. Very similar to this three line set here. There are also vent lines. The remainder of the system is this line here. So there is right here, the little bracket tab. This will have a foam donut on it that slides around this valve. And so normally it would be like this, but this hose would kind of snake behind stuff to come down to here. And this is the other side of that hose. And then you see the wiring harness here, and it's labeled vent. If you just wanted to disconnect this system from your bike, all you would actually have to do is on this line here is just cut it anywhere you want, put a bolt in there, zip tie it down, leave this valve plugged in to the line here and still in its little foam retainer there, and you're good to go. But basically what happens is your gas tank vents positive pressure into this charcoal canister, and the charcoal is supposed to absorb the hydrocarbons, and then the hydrocarbonless air is supposed to come out and go into the engine when this valve opens up. It's a one-way check valve. And basically what happens is as you're coming into a stop, or if you're idling, the engine is going to electrically open this check valve, and there is a port on each throttle body that allows the vacuum to draw in from this any positive pressure that's there. In my case, I'm more or less positive my charcoal canister is saturated in gasoline, that someone has crazily overfilled this before I got there, and or tipped it a lot, that the vent thing can just fill up this canister if you drop it onto the, I guess, passenger side too many times. And so basically what's happening is the electrical valve is opening, thinking that it's going to get some amount of basically fresh air going in to help it idle, and instead what it's getting is crazily hydrocarbon saturated air, and so you grab the clutch and it runs crazy rich for a second and just stalls out. And so really all you have to do is just block this line, right? Like If you block this line and leave the vent hooked up, I mean, honestly, you could block it down here on the other side of the vent if you wanted to. It makes no difference. What you would wind up doing is when the system opens, it wouldn't open to anything. It would be a vacuum, and the bike's already designed to run an idle vacuum. That's not a problem. The only thing you'd really have to do if you wanted to do it that way, you either clip it on this side of the vent or just leave the vent electrically hooked up and then clip this somewhere as it goes inside the air box there. The only thing you'd have to do on top of that is just run a new vent line from the right side of the fuel cap. There's two lines that come out from underneath that. Just plug it in and just snake it underneath the bike, kind of like these ones do. I think this is the left side of the fuel cap, but basically just let it vent underneath the bike.